guys basically around, and I've been around in the ad agency business for a number of years, and I've been in promotion for a long time, so it's really, really cool. So, tell me a little bit more about yourself and where do you basically come from?
So I grew up in Kitchener-Waterloo, 35,000 people when I was growing up. Went to Queens, studied Soviet politics, which was fantastic, because as I was studying it, the Soviet Union collapsed, so rather than having a politics degree, I had a history degree. And then I went to Japan for 3 years. I went over to teach English, ended up working in the head office of a Japanese company, which was an incredible experience. If you ever get the chance to go and live and work for a long time in another country, I recommend it highly. And this was back, I'm going to be dating myself here horribly, but this was back in the late 90s. And the internet was not really that big a thing yet. And so I was sitting in this office in Japan. We didn't even have the internet in the office. I, at that point, had actually never even seen a web page though. And they internetified our office. I saw a Yahoo page load on the screen. Yahoo was very big back then. And I was like, I don't know what that thing is, but it's the future. And so I came back and I started applying for technology jobs. And I was a technophobe. I really did not know anything about technology at that point, but I just fired off a bunch of resumes. And one day this guy calls me and he says, so I see that you want to be a firewall support engineer. And I'm like, yep. Firewall support engineer. He says, do you know what firewall is? And I said, oh, I have no idea, but I'm a good study. I learn quickly. And he starts laughing. He's like, well, you know, network security is actually a fairly serious thing. So we can't hire you for that job, but I see that you won this Yahoo award for Yahoo used to have this thing where they would pick a website. So they picked this website that I had built on Canadian literature that I think had 3 pages that I had HTML coded myself. And based on this guy said, well, we'd like you to come in and redo our website. So I'm like, okay, I'm sure I can figure this out. So I go in, I have meetings with the company, I end up doing their website, I go in to pick up my last check, and the guy says, so what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And I said, I'm really not sure. I'm kind of figuring that out. And he said, why don't you be our marketing manager? So I'm like, sure. I'm driving home, call my dad. Dad, what's marketing? I really no idea. As it turns out, for those of you who have seen Shark Tank or Dragon's Den or Dancing with the Stars, that guy was Robert Herjavec.
Oh, wow.
So I was employee number 11 at Robert's company. I learned everything I knew about technology while I was working for him. The entrepreneurial bug definitely bit me while I was working for him too. Obviously, you know, sitting with the master for a couple of years, it definitely inculcates something in you. And so since then, I have been involved in a number of entrepreneurial ventures, including SqueezeCMM, which is what I'm here to talk to you about today.
Perfect. Well, I remember hearing one thing that someone, I guess when I was first introduced to who you were, and again, when I was reading your bio, you basically said that you won your name in the top 25 of the upcoming companies in the BRAM, was it the BRAM 3000?
The BRAM 300, yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. So the BRAM list is put on by an analyst firm in Ottawa and has been for the past 25 years. What they do is they pick the top 300 biggest technology companies in the country, and then the next 25 that they think are going to be the most important up-and-coming companies after that. So we were very honored this year. SqueezeCMM was named to the top 25 up-and-coming list, which is essentially based on future potential and innovation.
Okay. So tell us exactly what is SqueezeCMM?
Sure. So SqueezeCMM is a content marketing measurement platform. What we allow you to do is essentially add labels to any content, any digital actions, really anything that appears on any messaging platform, any social network. Really, we can measure offline as well. We give the ability to add labels to all of that and then see across all of your platforms and on all of your channels which content is actually generating business results. Primarily for B2B organizations, although we do have a fair number of B2C companies that are our customers as well. We primarily work with large organizations and agencies right now. Our first customer was HP. I went down to California and sold HP on a product that literally did not exist. I had spreadsheets. I was like, this is what it's going to do. And they bought it. They're still our customer now. That was 5 years ago. So HP, SAP, Dell, Raymond James, some of our customers that are using us to figure out, they're making significant investments in content, which content assets are actually working, on which platforms, what kind of business results are they leading to, and then what patterns can we see about user behavior that we can then base other conclusions on.
Perfect, so basically fake it till you make it again. You hear this time and time again, every event that we hold, everyone's saying the exact same thing.
Well, I was pretty clear about it. I was like, look guys, I don't actually have a product yet, but this is what it's going to do. This is what it does in spreadsheet format.
Okay, cool. So tell me, how did you come up with the idea of SqueezeCMM?
Sure, so at the time I was running an agency. After I worked for Robert, I then went to work for another startup and realized that the bug had bitten me. So I started an agency in 2002 that was focused on content marketing back before anybody really was even talking about content marketing. And we did really well. We signed up a lot of clients, including Bell. Bell Canada was our largest client for a very long time. They spent a lot of money with us on content marketing, so we were building their content assets and helping them generate leads. And we, over the course of about 6 years, we generated 25,000 leads for Bell Enterprise through our content assets. And they came to us one day and said, okay, so this is really great, but how do we know if this stuff is working? And how do we know which assets are working? And at that time, I was just really a creative person. I said, well, I mean, you guys don't know, like, we're building the stuff, you're deploying it, you can't actually tell it's working. And they said, no, we have no idea. So I said, well, that's probably a problem that we can solve. We had another client that was kind of in the same boat. So we kind of put something together that allowed them to track ad labels to their assets. So this is a white paper, this is a case study, this is on the topic of voice over IP, this is on IP trunking. So allowing us basically to add that data to all of the assets. And over the course of a couple of years, a couple of other clients started using it too. And so we started to realize, maybe about 3 years in, that it had commercial potential beyond just Bell. So we tried to figure out what to do. Should we spin it out of the agency? What should we do? So we did end up doing that. We ended up spinning it out, went into an accelerator, and the company was acquired actually just about a year ago. It was June 9th last year. So I'm still responsible very much for the product itself, although I'm in another couple of other entrepreneurial ventures as well at the moment. But that's pretty much how it got started.
Well, give me an idea of your timeline right now. So you came up with your product, you had your idea, you basically progressed from there.
Yeah.
Now, when you first launched the product, because we want to step back a little bit, what was, here's a grand vision, you know what you want to have happen, how much of that, I guess, general idea did you actually create before you really started breaking stuff down based on what customers want through, going over your MVP and trying to figure out, okay, these are bare bones, this is where we're going to start, and then we're going to...
Well, we always knew that the focus for us was going to be classification. So however that was going to be delivered, and that's been delivered now in multiple different ways. We use a link shortener partly to deliver the classification. We use JavaScript in some cases. It really depends on what the asset is and what you're going to be doing with it. But our MVP was literally like put your link in, add some data to it, squeeze it, and it became a verb. HTTP actually started using it as a verb. They're like, we're squeezing our links and we're seeing this. We are a verb. We have made it. This is awesome. But that was really it. So how do we deliver the information about the asset? Because it's almost impossible. If you use Google Analytics or Omniture or any of the publishing platforms for social or other content, they'll tell you a lot about the traffic. They will tell you a lot about what is happening on your site and where people are going. But it's very hard to pinpoint the impact of the content itself. And that is what we have focused on.
Okay, so isn't it, like you mentioned before,